here's what you'll learn in this lesson and what you'll be able to do after this lesson. You'll be able to apply the correct order of operations, which you might have heard of in the form of BODMAS or PEDMAS or BIDMAS. You'll be able to evaluate expressions using mixed operations and directed numbers, which are just positive and negative numbers. And you will be able to insert brackets into a statement to change the order of operation and make the statement mathematically correct. Let us first take a look at why it's necessary to have your order of operations. This comes from the calculation property. And this basically ensures that everyone gets the same result for a calculation. So because we want to ensure that everyone gets the same result for a calculation, we have to set rules of the order the operations are made in. So basically the priority list of the operations. So we're going to look at the priority list. Under both BODMAS and PEDMAS, because they mean the same thing. When I say priority list, this just tells me what do I do first. What do I do first in the calculation? Using the acronym BODMAS and the acronym PEDMAS. The first thing I'm supposed to do is the brackets, where your B is satisfied. For PEDMAS, it means the same thing, but instead we say parenthesis, which also means brackets. The second thing that we have to do is orders, which comes from the letter O, which is just powers and roots, so exponents, which is the definition of E from PEDMAS. The third priority we have is division and multiplication. You can switch the order of these around. This comes from the D and the M for BODMAS, and also the D and the M for PEDMAS. And the last thing on our priority list is addition and subtraction, which comes from the A and the S in BODMAS and the A and the S in PEDMAS. This is the priority list of the order of operations in terms of what operation to perform first in your calculation. Let us look at an example here. If we have 3 times 9 minus 7, well, you have two options here. One is you do the multiplication first. The other one is that you do the subtraction first. And you choosing which one you do will give you a different answer. And let's see. If you do the multiplication first, 3 times 9 is just 27. And then subtract 7 from that, we will get 20. If you do the subtraction first, 9 minus 7 is just 2. Then we can do 3 times 2, which is going to give us 6. So to ensure everybody, whoever is doing this calculation, gets the same answer, we will apply this priority list. What do I do first in this calculation? And in our order of our priority list, your division and multiplication comes before your addition and subtraction. Therefore, we will have to do the multiplication before we go forward with the subtraction. And therefore, this is going to be the correct answer for this calculation right here. Another example we can go through. -4 times 8 plus -3. And if we look at our order of operation, the first thing we have to do is brackets. So here we will do whatever is going on inside the bracket, which is just 8 plus -3, which can be simplified to 8 minus 3, which is just 5. So this ends up becoming -4 times 5. This is the result of whatever happens inside the bracket. And then we go on to the second piece of operation, which is a multiplication. -4 times 5, which gives me -20. And that will be the correct result for this calculation right here. Now let's look at the role of brackets in completely changing the result of a calculation. A bracket, because of its first in the priority list property, can change the result on its own. For example, if I have the expression 2 plus 3 times 4, we know that we will do the multiplication first, which will give us 3 times 4, which is just 12. Therefore, this will become 2 plus 12, which is just 14, because we did the multiplication first. But if we have this exact same expression, but we add brackets here, 2 plus 3 times 4. Now what happens is you have to do the brackets first, which gives you 5, and then you multiply by 4, which gives you 20. So just adding a pair of brackets changed the order of operations because the brackets is first on the priority list, and it made us do the addition before we do the multiplication. Therefore, brackets are actually very important in changing what you want your result to be. Now, suppose you're given this. 6 times 2 plus 1 equals 18. And you're told to insert brackets so that this statement right here is mathematically correct. And the usual thing you do here is you do the multiplication first and then the addition. So you do 6 times 2, which is 12. Then you would add 1 to that later, which would give you 13, which is not what we want. We want 18 out of it. So obviously the multiplication should not be the first thing that you should do. And because this is a simple expression where there are just two operations that are happening, then we can predict that we might want the addition to happen first. And let's see what happens if the addition happens first here. 6 times 2 plus 1, which is 3. And that does actually give us 18, which is what we wanted. Now, how do we make the addition to happen first? We would add a pair of brackets there in order to let the addition happen first, then the multiplication happen second. So I was able to make this statement mathematically correct by adding a pair of brackets into that statement. One more tip regarding your calculator. All calculators, they do apply these order of operations, BODMAS. So you have to be very careful whenever writing anything in your calculator. For example, if you want to find the value of this thing right here, 5 plus 7 over 2. Your first guess would end up being, okay, let me just write 5 plus 7 divided by 2. But your calculator does not know that you want to solve this thing right here. And so it will apply its order of operations and it will do the 7 divided by 2 first, which will give it 3.5. Then it will add 5 to that. So it will actually give you 8.5 instead of being 12 over 2, which is 6. So to make sure you don't have that problem, you need to add your brackets to your 5 plus 7. 5 plus 7, then you want that entire thing to be divided by 2. So you actually use the skill of inserting brackets when using your scientific calculators.